Legal structures and documents that work best for enforcing trademarks. In this video, we'll give you a brief overview of the legal structures and documents your company should have in place in order to have the greatest success with e-commerce enforcement efforts against unauthorized sellers. The best programs include both preventative and active enforcement tactics. Preventative measures. Trademarks. In a perfect world, product designs, logos, catchphrases, and other intellectual property would be registered with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO, before they ever hit the shelves. In reality, great ideas often move faster than the federal government. Talk to your intellectual property attorney about how to best protect your trademarks both before and after registration approval with the USPTO. The more steps your company takes now to protect its ideas, the greater success you'll have against unauthorized sellers in the future. Material differences under the first sale doctrine. If you're unfamiliar with the first sale doctrine, you probably want to go back and watch our first couple of videos in the Sales and Marketing series. The first sale doctrine is a legal defense that most unauthorized sellers will raise when you first accuse them of trademark infringement. That's okay. We're expecting that response, and the following preventative measures will help us overcome their purported defense. 1. Product warranties. 2. Money-back guarantees. 3. Defined levels of customer service. 4. Authorized retailer networks. 5. Authorized retailer contracts. 6. Publication of authorized retailers on company website. And 7. Publication of authorized retailer policies on company website and packaging. Active enforcement tactics. Cease and desist demands. These are written communications demanding that someone stop doing something they're currently doing. E-enforcement efforts include sending cease and desist (C&D) notices to unauthorized sellers through the platform portal or directly to the seller's home or business, demanding that they stop selling your products in online marketplaces. Graduated pressure on the seller. 1. Initially, we'll prioritize the worst sellers harming your brand. 2. Our law enforcement trained investigators will then determine the seller's true identities, including their home and business addresses. The next round of C&D demands will be physical letters sent to those addresses via certified mail. 3. If unauthorized sales continue, the next step will be to send your attorney's C&D letter on his or her own letterhead via certified mail. This step is sometimes necessary with more sophisticated online sellers. Draft federal court complaint. The next step in the enforcement process is rarely necessary, but when it is deployed, it works quite well. We send the unauthorized seller a copy of a draft federal court complaint asserting claims for things like trademark infringement and unfair business practices. While that document will need to come from your attorneys, we have templates in place that should save them quite a bit of time and hence your money in drafting that complaint. File a federal trademark lawsuit. In worst-case scenarios, you might have to make a poster child out of the seller doing the most damage to your brand. Your attorney would file a lawsuit against an identified seller for the purpose of obtaining a court ruling against that seller. Once that ruling is obtained, it becomes a deterrent for other sellers and helps to build your street credibility for protecting your brand. At eEnforce, we've been putting these structures and documents in place for over a decade. We've worked with some of the top law firms in the country to help us understand those enforcement tools that will put your unauthorized seller problem to rest for good.